Hey everybody, welcome to Psychology and Sociology. I'm Miss Klug. I am so sorry that I can't be with you today, but I'm really excited to get started with psychology and sociology. So the first quarter of this course, we are going to focus on psychology, which is individual behavior. So why an individual thinks, feels, and reacts a certain way. The second quarter, we're going to focus on sociology, which is the study of collective behavior. So we're first going to focus on the individual, and then we're going to see how that individual functions within a larger group. So our ability to think beyond ourselves and connect to the experiences of others is kind of what we're going to be studying this semester. Now, we will be using OpenStax, Psychology and Sociology. They are online textbooks that you can access for free, and I link to those in the syllabus. Every single day, you will need to make sure you have your school-issued laptops. At the beginning of the year, we are not going to have individual laptops. I will have laptops in my room, but definitely make sure that they're fully charged. You will need to bring your own earbuds, headphones, whatever. You will have a student tracker, which we're going to talk about what that is a little bit later. And then, of course, papers, pens, your normal school supplies. So we will be using the following resources: Quizzes, ClassKick, Edpuzzle, and of course, YouTube, where you're watching this video now. So in just a minute, I'll be guiding you through registering for all of these things. This class is going to be a little bit different than classes that you've had before. We are doing self-paced mastery learning. So this means that you're going to have the flexibility to dive deeper into things that interest you or take your time learning a difficult concept. Every unit, you'll have videos just like this one by yours truly, and then you'll have practice assignments to follow that up. We will also, because it's psychology, we've got to come and we got to talk about the difficult concepts. Then you will have, at the end of each lesson, you'll have a 4 to 6 question mastery check. If you obtain mastery, which is 90 to 100%, then you may move on to the next lesson. If not, Mrs. Klug will be happy to go over some of the things with you and get you up there to mastery. So you'll be able to redo that mastery check. And the same goes for our unit tests. So in this way, you are going to pace the class based on like things that you already understand, things that make sense to you, and spending a little bit less longer on things that are a little bit more complicated. So like I said, our first 9 weeks is going to be psychology. Psychology is going to bleed a little bit into the second 9 weeks with that social psychology, because social psychology sort of takes us into sociology. So you'll be starting on Unit 1 tomorrow, which is basically an introduction to psychology, research, and statistics. And then we're going to talk about the biological basis of behavior. That's your brain and your endocrine system, sense and perception. So how do we see the world? Development. How do we develop from birth? What does that look like behaviorally? Memory, intelligence, and learning. And I think this will be your favorite because I'm going to teach you how to learn. I'm going to teach you how to trick your memory, do some memory tricks. You're going to learn how your brain works, and that's actually going to make you a better student in every class. Unit 6 is psychological disorders, and I will say this when we get to that unit, but I'm going to say it now. You are not to diagnose your friends and family with psychological disorders. Just because you've taken Intro to Psychology does not make you a licensed psychologist. Then the second 9 weeks, we're going to do our sociology, social psychology. We're going to talk about cultures. We're going to talk about roles within a society. We're going to talk about our sense of self versus groups, socialization, deviance, and stratification and social inequality. All right, so upon entering the classroom, you are going to use the hand sanitizer and grab an antibacterial wipe off your desk, and if we're using our group computer still, you go ahead and wipe your computer off, get out your student tracker, and get to work. And so what you're going to see here is a video of some of my friends demonstrating the right and the wrong way to enter the room.
Oh, hey, Miss Coon. How you doing? Hey, Miss Coon.
So, what did Andre do wrong there? Well, first, he came in with his mask down here. In order to keep out germs, you got to have your mask covering your nose, okay? He walked in, he didn't do the hand sanitizer or the wipes. He touched everything and spread his germs all the way around. He came in, of course, please say hello to Miss Klug, but do not continue to talk over and over again or talk with your peers or whatever. Just come in. He also just laid down, slammed a bunch of stuff, and then put his head on his desk. That is not how we're going to walk in the classroom. Perfect. So we're going to come in, use our hand sanitizer, grab an antibacterial wipe, wipe down our desk, wipe down our computer, get out our student tracker so that we know where we left off the last time we did our psychology work, and then pick up where you left off on your tracker. So what are my classroom expectations? First of all, I expect you to work hard, okay? The way that Mastery Learning is set up, it seems like it's going to be really great. You're going to be able to go at your own pace, but also realize that that means that you're in charge of your own pace and making sure you do finish things on time, because there will be deadlines. Every unit will have a deadline of a test. And yes, you will have time to do things throughout the unit in your own time, but that unit test, once that unit test hits, you've got to have all of that stuff in. So it's self-paced, but there are also deadlines, and you're going to be responsible for working hard enough to meet them. All right. Especially in this class, we need to be careful and create a safe space, because we're going to be talking about a lot of very serious issues, and not everyone is going to have the same opinion. We're also going to be learning about some crazy theories of different scientists over the years. And so we just all need to be aware that we don't know what someone else is going through, and that we want to make sure and make this the most respectable and safe environment where we can have some really great and fun group discussions and group activities. Now, if you do not want to participate in keeping this a respectful and safe place, then there will be consequences. Obviously, at the beginning, I'm going to try and redirect your behavior, give you a verbal warning. You may need to have a little time out in the back of the room or outside the room for a few minutes to gather yourself. After that, I'm going to have a phone call or an email with your guardians. And then after that, obviously, you would have an office referral. But what can you expect if you behave appropriately? Well, you can expect a fun class where we get a lot of great discussions, some verbal praise, some candy maybe, some emails or phone calls letting your parents know how great you are. That's always really good to have in the bank in case you do something wrong to the parents. You can say, oh, but Miss Klug called and said I did great. Honesty is always the best policy. We're going to do a lot of group work in here, but none of your answers should be exactly the same to anything, because you have your own mind. You use different types of words. You all have your own wording. And so even when you're working in a group, I expect that what you turn in is only yours and yours alone. Turning in someone else's work, copying from other people or a website, giving your work to others is also cheating, and accepting answers on tests or homework is cheating. Cheating is going to result in a 0. I will not take it for a late grade. You may not be able to redo it. You will get a 0, and that starts from today, this minute. I just have 0 tolerance for dishonesty and cheating. All right, tardy. So when you come in, if you're tardy, there's going to be a binder at the front of the class. You're going to write your name and the time you came in. If you have a pass, you're going to put it in the little folder that's in the binder. And that's it. You're going to come in and get to work exactly like if you had been here on time. Don't be asking people what we did. Don't be asking people what we said. You're going to come in, be quiet, get your work done. Now, in our classroom, we're going to have a lot of different areas. So I'll have an area for group work, several areas for group work, group lab work, individual time with Mrs. Klug or small group time with Ms. Klug, and then and then in the back, I have a place for you to do individual work on your own, mastery checks, unit tests, like all of that, kind of in the back. So when you're in the room, you can move to any station that you want to move in. If you need to leave the room, that's where you need to consult Ms. Klug. Ms. Klug is only going to give you 2 passes for the quarter to leave the room. So if I were you, I would make sure that I took care of my restroom and water needs prior to entering the classroom, so that you didn't have to use your 2 passes in the first week. When you leave, you need to make note on your progress tracker where you left off. On Thursdays, pay close attention to what you'll need to be doing at home on Fridays. And if you need anything from the classroom to take home with you in order to complete that, you'll need to take care of that. You'll need to grab that on your way out, like an additional worksheet or something. Put away any class items that you use, clean and straighten up your area, and then exit the room in an orderly manner. There's no excuse for not succeeding, especially with the mastery learning. Your quiz grades are going to be, you can't get less than a 90 because I won't let you. You have to go back and redo it until you get a 90. Your test grades, I think 75 is the cutoff. So you can't get less than a 75 or you have to go back and keep redoing it. So, but also, I am available via email, via Teams chat. That's my favorite way. Send me a chat message. Come in to see me after class. I probably am not going to come in before class because I'm already struggling to get here at 7:15 if we're being honest. So, but after school is a definite possibility. Everything that you need is in Teams. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get you logged into Teams. And once we do that, I have a video to show you around our team. All grades are going to be posted in PowerSchool. Do not look into Teams for grades. Also, I'm going to let your parents know that all of the grades are in PowerSchool. So don't be trying to fool them by going, look, I turned all this stuff in. And then the grading percentages are relegated by the district. And so I don't really have much control over those. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about grading when we start talking about what is a must do, what is a should do, and what is aspire to do, and that'll give you a better idea. When you're absent, you can still do everything that we do now in class at home, except for, of course, the group work. And that is the beauty also of the mastery model. If you get behind this, you can definitely catch up in your own time. Mastery check and retake, I think I kind of covered that already. All assignments are posted in Teams with the suggestive due date. However, all assignments within the unit are due at the time of the unit test. You'll be given a 3 to 5 day window to complete the unit test and will not be allowed to progress to the next unit until the test is completed with 75% mastery. I want to be clear, you have to complete all of the units within the quarter. So if you get stuck on number 1 and you have to keep doing it over and over and over again, you're just going to get further and further behind. So we've got to make sure that we're keeping up with our pacing and that if we need help mastering something, that we get with Ms. Klug as soon as possible. All right? I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.